Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Video. Mein Name ist Aaron. Das heutige Video ist ein kleines bisschen spezieller. Ich befinde mich ja gerade auf Bali und habe hier jemanden kennengelernt, und zwar Matt aus Australien. Wir haben uns unterhalten über so das politische System in Australien, wie die Steuern funktionieren, wie Gesundheitsvorsorge funktioniert, das Rentensystem, wie man als Investor gesehen wird, wieso die Kultur ist so ein kleines bisschen. Wir haben ein bisschen über Immobilien gesprochen, wie Immobilieninvestitionen in Australien gesehen werden, und über ganz, ganz viele Themen haben wir gesprochen. Und ich war nach unserem Gespräch so unfassbar motiviert und man kann das gar nicht fassen, wenn man nur das deutsche System kennt und dann hört man, wie das in Australien ist. Da war ich so motiviert und wollte direkt ein Video machen und wollte euch das alles erzählen, was ich erfahren habe, weil es ist wirklich unglaublich. Und dann kam mir aber die Idee, es ist vielleicht besser, wenn ich das Ganze einfach Matt erzählen lasse. Und so kam es, dass ich Matt gefragt habe, ob wir nicht ein Video zusammen machen können, wo ich ihn quasi einfach so ein bisschen interviewe und er das alles nochmal vor laufender Kamera erzählt. Und genauso ist dieses Video entstanden. Das heißt, es gibt heute ein Video mit Matt und Matt ist, das Ganze ist auf Englisch und guckt euch einfach an. Ich würde mich über Feedback freuen und viel Spaß dabei. Guys, today I'm not alone, I'm with Matt, and before we start, we take a short power shot. Is it? Yeah?
Power
okay,
shot.
Power shot.
Get us ready for this.
Okay.
Cheers.
Oh God. Oh God.
How good is that?
Okay. Okay. Hello, Matt. Nice to have you here.
Yes.
Today I want to talk with you about the system in Australia.
Sure.
Like tax system, health care system, and so on.
That's good.
I would like to start with the tax system.
Yeah, great.
So, can you tell me how is the tax system working in Australia?
Sure. So we have a pretty easy structure for the company tax system in Australia. So first of all, there's a blanket tax, so it's 30% tax on the profit that you earn in your business.
In the corporate?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the corporate tax.
Yeah.
We do get a subsidy though, so what's classified as a small business in Australia is a business that earns under 25 million Australian dollars.
Wait, a small business is 25 million?
Under 25 million dollars.
It's a small business.
Is a small business in turnover.
Okay.
And so if you're a small business or classified that, you only pay 27.5%.
So paying 2.5 less.
Less,
Okay.
yeah. And by 2021, it's actually going to be 25%. So we're going to be paying 5% less. So that's basically the corporate tax structure on your profit. If you don't have a profit, you don't pay any tax.
So you only have to pay taxes for the profit.
On the profits.
So okay, yeah.
So it's pretty simple. We have a goods and service tax. I don't know what you call that.
VAT, a Mehrwertsteuer, Umsatzsteuer in German.
Yeah, so
it's a VAT.
So our VAT or our goods and service tax is only 10%.
10%. We have 19%.
19%.
So, like 90% more.
90% more. Wow. So that's a significant amount. And I think it's very similar. You only pay the end user only pays.
The end user, in a B2B business, it's not that.
That's right.
It's not important. Yeah,
but 90%.
It's a bit more. Yeah. Okay, so you have the corporate taxes and the private tax, I guess, also.
Yes, we have a private tax. It works different, and the way that works is based on how much money you earn each year.
It's getting higher.
Right.
Wow.
So the first 18,200 Australian dollars that you earn, you don't pay any tax at all. So you have zero. So that's approximately 11,000 euros.
Yeah. So you don't pay taxes for the first 11,000 euros you earn a year.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. So,
okay.
So very, very that. After that, we have the next threshold, is what it's called.
Yeah.
Is up from that 18,000 Australian dollars to 37,000 Australian dollars. That's the threshold.
Yeah.
And basically, you pay 19% or 19 cents for each dollar.
For each dollar you earn, yeah. Aussie dollar.
Yeah, Aussie dollar. But that's after that 18,000.
Okay.
So up to 30.
So they'll pay like 10% in the first.
Basically, what it breaks down is you end up only paying 10% up to $37,000.
Okay. I will show you a list of this.
So it makes sense. And then it goes up a little bit more after that. The highest that we pay is if you earn $180,000 or higher, you will pay.
What is this in euro? 110, 13?
About 113,000 euros.
Okay. Yeah.
So after that $180,000, you pay $54,000, and then you pay. It's like after that amount, you pay 45 cents.
So 45% is the maximum you have to pay in taxes.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but that's it. You have to pay in taxes.
That's it. That's done. After that, that's what you're paying basically.
Okay. So that's way much compared to Germany.
Right.
In the lower areas, we pay like 30% more in taxes,
Wow.
and in the higher amount, like 20%
Wow.
more in taxes. And corporate taxes, I guess, is very similar to Germany, but the private is way higher
You
in
pay a
Germany,
lot
and even in the goods and service taxes is
You're paying.
way more taxes.
Jeepers.
Okay, great. That's the tax system. Now let's speak about the minimum wage. You told me you have high minimum wage, very high minimum
We
wage.
have some of the highest minimum wages in the world. So our
much?
minimum wage at the moment is $18.93 per hour,
per hour,
which is about 12 euros.
12 euros.
What's it in Germany?
I'm not 100% sure. I guess like 9 euros we
9
pay.
euros.
So like,
Wow.
So
Significantly less. That's
yeah.
3 euros.
But
per hour.
do you have a very high unemployment rate in Australia? Or
No,
how do you,
it's quite low actually, our unemployment rate.
how do you have some tariffs on or how does it work that you have?
So our economy in Australia is basically based on consumption.
Yeah.
So because people earn high wages, they often have a lot more disposable income to be able to spend.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we also have a lot of exports that we have to sell to places like China, India. Things
So
like
no
that.
tariffs
So
to protect the local market that you can have that.
no, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Exactly. But the thing is, I'm sure there are some, but they're not prevalent.
Yeah.
Our government actually made this big thing a while back. They realized that because our wages are high, the manufacturing industry is not going to survive because
So you don't
manufacturing-
have such a big manufacturing industry.
Right, so they just said we're going to make a big step, and the manufacturing, we're going to let that go, and we're going to focus on other things that Australians can do to earn wages and money. And it was a big call, but it's paid off big time for us. So.
As long as it's working, it's fine, I would say.
Exactly.
Okay, that's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to Germany, I have to say. Okay, that was the minimum wage. So let's talk about the healthcare system
Sure.
in Australia. Do we have insurance, government insurance or something like this?
So the way it works in Australia is we have private health insurers,
Private.
okay, and the government provides some subsidies.
Yeah.
To make it affordable. But
Okay.
from what I've seen, our healthcare is extremely affordable compared to the rest of the world.
Okay.
So I'll break it down for you so you can
Yeah.
kind of get an idea for it. Minimum, if I wanted to, so I'm a single male, so my minimum my healthcare is about 130 Australian dollars a month.
So that's like 100, not even 100 euros.
That's 80 euros.
80 euros.
basically.
80 euros. Okay.
80 euros a month, and that will basically give me cover for pretty much everything I'm going to need in terms of hospital, and then I get extras on things like optical, dental, that kind of thing. So that's covered in $130 a month.
That's super cheap.
Yeah. How
And
much
this
is it in Germany?
And in Germany we have like 400 at least, 400 euros at least a month.
400 euros?
And it depends on your
Wow.
income. If you earn more, you have to pay more, and it's like a tax system in Germany. If you earn more, you have to pay more into the
so
system.
much.
Yeah, and it starts with, if you're self-employed, it starts with like 400 euros.
400 euros.
That's
I'll break it down. The highest level of healthcare that I can get in Australia costs me about 300 Australian dollars a month, which is about 190 euros a month.
that's a super premium health
That's
insurance.
literally the highest I can obtain.
Okay. Do you have to pay when you go to the hospital? Do you have your own share or on excess or?
So you have what we call an excess.
Yeah.
So you have to pay the first 250 Australian dollars, which is like maybe 160 euros.
Yeah.
you-
For the hospital.
Yeah, that's it. So
Okay.
if you end up having something major that's going to cost millions of dollars, you only have to pay that first 250, and they'll cover you for as much as it takes. You'll be covered.
But the government is subsidizing.
Subsidizes part of it, yeah.
Okay. So didn't you tell me something about a 2% flat tax or something in the health?
Yeah,
I was
right.
thinking because in Germany it's kind of similar. When you
Mhm.
earn more, you have to pay more into the system.
Yeah,
the health
so
system.
so we have it's a 2% flat tax. It's called a Medicare levy.
Okay.
And basically, if you earn over 22,000 Australian dollars a year, you pay this 2% tax.
Additional on your taxes. So okay.
Yeah.
So when you
It's
earn
blanket 2%.
100,000, you pay like 2,000, a bit less than.
It'll be
2,000.
less than 2,000, but
Okay,
yeah.
additional. And is there a maximum where it's
There's no cap on that.
no cap on that? Oh, okay.
So
So if you earn $1 million, you have to pay
you effectively will pay as far as I'm aware.
20,000.
Yeah.
20,000 in
this-
subsidized the health insurance system.
Yeah.
Okay, but this very different. I get way better, but
Yeah, well,
okay, way cheaper, for example.
You think in terms of like the average wage in Australia, I think is about 80,000 or 75,000 Australian dollars.
Yeah.
So 2% of that after the 22,000 is not that bad considering your healthcare is very cheap,
Yeah.
and so it's a very good system.
Would you say the system, the hospitals, and so on are on a good level in Australia?
Oh yeah, it'd be some of the highest in the world.
It's also 100% private. Or
So
are
there's public and private hospitals.
Yeah.
And
Which one you prefer?
Yeah, I'm a private guy for sure.
That's great.
It's affordable. You can get private health insurance. Things happens quicker. But for lower income earning Australians, they may have public sort of cover.
Okay.
But they wouldn't be paying that much in terms of, if anything at all. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Okay. That's about the healthcare system. Now I heard about a book you can read or you can buy in Australia. It's especially made for Australia.
Written by an Australian for Australians.
Yeah. Well, what was it?
He's called The Barefoot Investor. Like on your feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feet.
Okay. Well, what is this book about?
So this guy is an Aussie guy, and he actually came out. I think he had basically his history is he had a farm, and there was a fire that he had, and he basically didn't have any wealth to support himself during this fire. So he decided to look deep into the Australian market and work out how can I, just in my job, or how can any Australian accrue wealth over time, so if there's disaster or in retirement, they're going to have enough money to retire. And this guy has basically sold 2 million copies of this book. Now you've got to realize that 2 million copies,
How many people live in Australia?
there's only 24 million Australians.
So like 10%.
10% of the population, right? And it's just for Australians.
Yeah.
10% of the population have purchased this book.
How to become wealthy and for retirement and
Yeah, basically you have enough money in
have
retirement.
them. Okay.
That's the kind of the goal. And so 10% of people have actually purchased this book. Probably more have read it. 'Cause,
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
yeah, I know my brother has given it out to at least 5 people. The same book. So so a lot of people have read this book. So it's written written for Australians.
Yeah.
And
It's especially for the Australian system, how it's
correct, and how it works. And basically he gives a lot of, without getting too technical, gives a lot of long-term advice.
about compounding and so on, I guess.
Correct. Strategic planning, saving money, budgeting, that kind of thing as well. This guy has become so famous and so well recognized in Australia that even the government will kind of hand you the book and say...
The government tells you read this book?
I have some friends that went and they got some financial advice, and the guy said, literally, I'll help you through it. Read this book first.
Oh God.
So you have a basis.
So... no. Hard to believe. This is, okay, so this guy tells you how to invest, how to manage your money and so on.
Basically, so you've got enough. Make sure that you've got enough money in retirement that you're not going to have to worry about money.
Okay, so retirement is, I guess, one about money, and on the one hand about the money, and one hand on the real estate. Real estate's
a big deal in Australia. So majority of Australian wealth is actually in real estate.
Yeah, real estate.
And the big thing I think probably different from, I'm not sure what it's like in Germany, but our government actually wants us to buy houses.
Wait, the government wants you to buy a house for investment or for your own?
Both, kind of, in a way.
Whoa.
Definitely they want you to, they're always coming up with schemes. So I think the current one is called the First Home Buyer Scheme, and the goal is to get millennials who are just starting to work to be able to buy and afford a house. So they want you to own a property.
So you don't have to pay rent when you are retired.
Basically, yeah. So when you retire, you've definitely got one house. You don't have to pay rent, and you've got your money, so you're good. They don't have to look after you.
Okay. But it's not just about one house. It's more about. Some people also have. I know I heard about this. It's more like a culture to have more than one house in Australia.
That's right, yeah.
It's like real investment houses.
Absolutely, yeah. So you will see if you go to cafes and you meet with Australians and you're talking, one of the big things they love to discuss is property and the property market and how that's all going and how their housing is going. So a common thing for an Australian is to buy the first house, that's the one you live in, and then look to buy that or the second and third investment property so that they actually have sort of rent or income coming off those properties as they move into retirement.
And does the government also help you with or to buy more?
They definitely, they definitely encourage you and
at least they don't stop, and they help you to
they
become
won't
educated
stop
with the.
Absolutely.
They won't stop.
Definitely not. No. They'd be basically you've got to understand. The Australian government goes, if we can get these people to have enough income in their retirement, we don't have to look after them, and that's their goal.
So overall, they try to help you to become independent, so you don't have to need any...
Independent, that's the right word. So you don't need any government assistance or help in the future. That's kind of what they want.
It's unbelievable for me, to be honest.
Oh, really?
From German point of view, 100% different.
Wow, yeah.
Okay, so on the one hand, we have the real estate,
Mm-hmm.
and do you have also something like the 401k in the US? I know it's kind of similar in the
Yeah, so we have this thing called superannuation. And so the way it works is... it's a bit different to the 401k, because the 401k in America, you earn the wage, and then you pay a percentage of that wage before you pay tax into that fund. And that's how it works. In Australia, when they introduced this superannuation plan, what they said is, okay, here's your wage every year, and your employer now has to pay another 9.5%.
9.5%?
Yes, minimum 9.5%. Can be higher. Into this super fund. So the great thing about that is Australians didn't have to go, okay, now I've got to focus on saving money for retirement. It's all done automatically because the employer puts it in.
Okay, and this is private, or is this a public fund?
So again, there's private and there's public ones, or
so
even
different
semi-private and semi-public, but most of them, like the higher returning ones, are typically private.
Private again.
Yeah.
and how does it do it? It's an investment in stocks and bonds and so on, or is this in...
So you take the company, so you choose what's called a super fund, and they're the ones that will look after and manage your money that the employee pays, that 9.5%, and they invest it into low-risk stocks, low-risk bonds that generate decent returns, and
it's all about the compounding effect.
Basically, compounding is like the main focus. If you look at the way that Australian wealth is heading and where people want to, or what they're looking at investing in, the compound wealth. So the first year you don't earn much, but then when you're at year 20 after investing for 20 years, the compound interest is you're just rolling in money.
yeah.
That's the goal.
If you earn a bit more and you pay 9.5%.
Yeah, so
so you have a lot in the retirement account.
Correct. So I got a couple of friends.
Yeah.
They're a married couple, and they both work. So they will both have employees that pay that 9.5% into their super fund. They've decided that they're looking long term to build wealth. They want to make sure that they've got plenty of money in retirement. So they contribute an extra $1,000 into that retirement fund. 1,000 every month into that retirement fund.
So,
actually, what they calculated is if they do that for 35 or 40 years,
till retire.
When they actually retire, they're going to have over $3 million sitting in there in retirement, right? So that's them. They can afford that, and away they go.
So it's not like the US. Your goal is to have 401k.
No,
it's more like
millions. Yeah.
Become a millionaire.
Yeah. You kind of need over $1 million to retire comfortably. Because I mean, when you retire at sort of 65, that's the age that most people retire in Australia. It changes depending on what the government says. That's when you can access your money. In that
which
around
age?
65 is when you get access to your money. And then, I mean, you might live for another 25 years, so you need enough money to sustain that.
So is it common that all people in Australia are investing in this super fund?
Absolutely. So like
everyone?
Yeah, everyone has a super fund. If you're employed, you have a super fund. Like that's...
So everyone is a shareholder? Not directly, but...
I guess you could say that, You basically, that's right. And these are good, like these are very well-structured companies or well-structured super funds. So just like over the last 10 years, they've actually, I think the average was about a 7% return, right? So 10 years, you're putting money in that you're really not having to do much with, and those super funds will give you a 7% return.
A year?
On average, over the last 10 years. So that's very consistent.
The compounding thing will make you very, very
wealthy. If you calculate that 7% on compound interest over the next 40 years, you're going to have a lot of money as long as you just keep.
Yeah, you're definitely independent in that. When you're retired,
definitely, and
with a few properties.
That's right. You're all set. So if you just manage well and just follow, even like this is the government setting these things up. Like this is them front running this and actually leading this.
Yeah.
If you manage these things well, you'll do well. And I'll even tell you about one for me. I think about a year and a half ago, the government introduced an incentive. So they said,
explain.
An incentive, yeah. So they said to certain Australians, and I fell in that age bracket, they said that if you contribute up to $500 to your super fund, we'll match it. So basically, I deposited $500 into my super fund, and the government said, here's a free $500 to put in there as well. So this is a big thing for Australians, and the government's right on top of this and pushing it forward to make sure that they basically have enough money in retirement and that they don't have to look after you.
So the government also helps you to invest into your retirement account.
Absolutely.
And tries you to
get the money in there. Yeah, definitely. That's a big part of it.
So hard to believe. From the German point of view, it's so hard. So, but okay, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
I'm very happy
to
had an interview with you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited I could share with you.
Yeah. Okay, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next video.
See you later.